Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs, so let's get to it. Alright, you guys, so the inauguration is tomorrow. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna take this section real slow because you guys know how much I hate talking about Donald Trump. I feel like I get belligerent when I talk about him, that I'm not able to express myself so well. He brings out emotions in me that I sometimes realize is not logical, it is not forgiving, and I am usually a person that is both of those. Okay, so it's hard for me to talk about him, but with the inauguration coming up tomorrow, I don't think I have any other choice. So yeah, it's happening out in DC. They've been shutting the city down, I understand, since yesterday with all the parties and the balls and everything else that is going on. They are expecting less than 1 million people at this inauguration, which is a very low turnout. It even has gotten to the point where Donald Trump was on the internet yesterday actually inviting people to the inauguration, giving out tickets as if it was some little league ball game and not what is usually deemed as one of the hardest events to get to. So yeah, it is what it is, you guys. It's happening tomorrow. We just have to face it, right? He is going to be your president of the United States. Now, we got to talk about the backlash that many of our Black entertainers have faced in connection with this inauguration. I will admit, I had to sit down with myself all this week and have a talk with myself. Really try to understand the decisions of some of the Black people that have decided to meet with Donald Trump. The one that made the most noise was Steve Harvey. And you guys know how I feel about Steve Harvey. I have said it plenty of times. He is not my favorite person. When I saw that he actually went to speak with Donald Trump, I kind of had a smirk on my face. I just was like, well, it figures. Of course, all of the words came to mind. Okay, Uncle Tom, Coon, things like that. I was very disappointed, but not necessarily surprised. Then, as people started to really lash out at him and go onto his Instagram and his Twitter and, you know, just give him the business about it, I was like, okay, all right, Roxanne, now we don't try to be a part of gang mentality. So let's try to look at this a little differently. Steve Harvey does do things in the community for the Black people. And, you know, possibly he felt that this was something that he needed to do to help the Black community. But I started to think that, you know, what would have made me accept Steve Harvey's decision to go speak to Donald Trump is if he would have said when he came out of the meeting, yeah, I wanted to talk to him about, you know, Black communities and, you know, how we can do certain urban development or whatever. We got a long road. It's not necessarily anything that can be done in a day. He's opened the door and I'm walking in to see if we can come to some sort of agreement to help the Black community. Okay. But we just don't know yet. Okay. We gonna see. If he would have said something like that, I would have understood better. But for Steve Harvey to come out of that meeting and say, you know, after I sat down and talked with him, you know what, he's a good guy. And I know that he cares about the Black community and he really wants to make some changes in the Black community. I just was so damn disgusted. Like, really? This is a man for years who have displayed racist tendencies. Okay, he's a bigot. He has problems with the foreigners. He has problems with the gays. He talks about people that are disabled. He has grabbed women by the pussy and thought that it was okay because, you know what, he's famous and he gets to do those kind of things. He has done so many things. I don't even understand how you could fix your mouth to say after a couple of hours of talking to him that he's actually a good guy and he's okay. Okay, now look, I have told you guys that I believe in second chances, but I need a motherfucker to prove themselves to me. Okay, I don't think as much for the Black community as much as he has talked so down about us. For us to expect him to prove himself to us. Yeah, I know eventually Black people are going to have to come to the table. But motherfucker, set the table up. I like a nice place setting. China, flatware, linens. You mean to tell me that all it takes is for you to talk to him for a couple of hours and he just throw a couple of good things out there at you without proving himself and all of a sudden he's all good? Absolutely not. That is what is the problem that I have with Steve Harvey. He just is one of these people that you can get sold a dream and it'd be okay. And but see, the thing is, Steve Harvey is smart, and he knows that you can't just come out and say that this is a good person and all of that, you know. So it makes you start to feel like he's even allowing himself to be used as a pawn. Okay, and that was the whole thing that D.L. Hughley and T.I. was talking about. Okay, the fact that you allowed yourself to be put in front of this community, okay, because you're our representative, okay, and that they'll listen to you. But don't insult our intelligence like that. All right, I was insulted that he said something like that. So that was my problem with Steve Harvey. Martin Luther King the third. Listen, I don't equate them kids with the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. Them kids, for lack of better words, are fucked up. They got a whole bunch of goddamn problems. I don't even think of Martin Luther King III as one of the kids that has tried to kind of keep this legacy going, okay? He's acquired the name because he has probably one of the most famous names, you know, in Black American history. But, yeah, you know, just the kids themselves can't get it together on what to do with, you know, Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, all of his artifacts, and, you know, they completely gutted out the museum that was beautiful here. And I know they've done something up in Washington, D.C., but this is Atlanta, you guys. This is Martin Luther King's home. It should be here. It's just, so, you know, Martin Luther King III, I don't think about Martin, Bernice, what's that other one? Dexter. I don't think about none of them. They don't really matter to me that way. I just laughed at Jennifer Holliday, okay, because, you know, when she came out and originally said that she accepted the invitation and, you know, she was doing what the president had asked her to do as Black people, you know, that we have to be willing to communicate and, you know, accept invitations so that we can, you know, together fix the problem. Okay, she was all about that until the gays got to her ass and was like, bitch, you must forget where your bread is buttered. You out here going around trying to sing for him, and he has done so much negative. He has Pence in there, who we know has serious problems with the gay community, and just him setting up his cabinet, you can already tell the direction of how they're gonna feel about the gays. So they was just like, bitch, yeah, I know you wanted to get up on that stage and everything, but we request strongly that you do not do that. Don't let these plays on Broadway fool you. The same way we came to support you is the same way that we will forget your ass. Okay, so she hurried up and backtracked on that one, right? Oh, now that she's been informed, what the fuck? Your news and shit you've been watching for the last 2 years. You just now getting informed, and the man been acting like this the whole damn time. But now that she's been informed, you know, she realizes that he's been detrimental to the community. So, you know what? The kids said don't do it, so I'm not going to do it. I just kind of smirked at it, but fine. She's not going to do it now. Chrisette Michele. I'm baffled by her. Listen, I know that Chrisette Michele is in this space right now where it's all love and she's kind of flower childish, you know, kumbaya, the earth and the stars and the moon opens up Mother Earth, and, you know, she's all in love with her fiance, and it's this whole story about how they broke up and, you know, fought for 7 years in court and was suing each other, and then he came back and proposed right when the court case was over, and now they, you know, happy. And then I know that Chrisette has a lot with her story right now, and that is the reason why I am going to try to understand where she is with this, but I don't think that it's a good idea for her. Black people right now, we're not really trying to be logical. All right, and I agree that sometimes I'm not logical about this whole situation. I just don't want nobody to be involved in the fucking inauguration. Like I said, we know that it's a table that we got to come to eventually. Okay, but bitch, set the fucking table up. Don't just have some old card table up there thrown together in the corner somewhere and expect me to come to it. Like, no, I think we deserve that. And that's what kind of bothers me sometimes about black people is we be so in a hurry to try to, you know, make peace. We don't want a whole bunch of friction. We just kind of want, you know, we just want everybody to get along and be happy and accept us, and we accept you, and, you know, that we too easily come to this conclusion like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what I can to. So I don't know, you guys, I have a hard time expressing myself with it, but I hope you guys can understand. Like, I understand why people are mad, and then I kind of understand what people are trying to do. It just doesn't feel like it's right with the inauguration. It does not feel like this is the time to be trying to work it out with Trump. He is an entertainer first. He can get up there and say all kind of things. What you need to be watching is this fucking cabinet that he's putting together. Y'all been watching these confirmation hearings, right? You see the people that he's trying to put in there, what their background is. We cannot even ignore this Betsy. What is it? Devos? Whatever it is, you guys. See, this is how rich people work. Donald Trump is a businessman first, right? A lot of times once you start getting to these rich people, you just get put in place because of the fact that you rich and you have the connection. You might not know shit about what the job is. Betsy is a perfect example of that. She's a billionaire. Never has worked in the educational system. Never has gone to public schools. Children have never gone to public schools. Didn't have to take out student loans. Children didn't have to take out student loans. She doesn't have any kind of connection to the educational system, yet and still Donald Trump wants her to be the Secretary of Education. You know, her getting up there and not being able to decipher between, you know, certain words and not knowing about what the discussion has been in the educational community for years and years and years. She just is not the person for the job. But see, Donald Trump, because he's a business person and because this is one of his cronies and she's a billionaire and all that, he just decided he's gonna put her in there. Okay? They are ripping apart his cabinet. It doesn't even mean that they won't get confirmed. It's just gonna let us know that we're gonna have a whole bunch of motherfuckers that's in office, his administration, that don't know what the fuck they doing. So that is why we should be really concerned about what our future is. For you to get up in there and be like, oh, he's all right, you know, no, let's look at what he is doing, not what he is saying. Okay? Oh, child, I tell you, I ain't watching that fucking inauguration tomorrow. I can remember being glued to the TV all day when President Obama took office. I mean, I watched it from morning to night, watched the balls, everything, you guys. I'd be damned if I even turn my damn TV onto that shit tomorrow. I just refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. Even the Bushes are not coming to the inauguration, you guys. George Bush and Barbara Bush are both in the hospital. George Bush, this is the father. He is 92 years old, you guys, and he has pneumonia. He has a respiratory infection. He has a lot going on, okay? A man can barely breathe. He had already written a letter that I actually thought was not real, but turns out that it was. He wrote a letter to your president-elect Donald Trump and told him that if I came to that inauguration, the doctors have already told me that it would put me 6 feet under. I would not survive it. He's been intubated and he's still in the hospital as of now. Now, Barbara Bush, they thought that she had pneumonia, but she does have bronchitis. Okay, Barbara Bush is 91 years old. They don't need to come to this fucking shit. You don't need to put your life on the line for this. I know that. Keep y'all asses in Texas. Y'all get better out there, okay? 92, 91 years old, they don't need to be traveling and all of that. Bronchitis, I didn't have bronchitis, but y'all remember when I had that hacking cough for like 3 months? It was terrible. That shit was so bad. I thought I had bronchitis. That shit was so bad that I had to get an inhaler. You guys remember that? I can't imagine being 91 years old and having this racking, hacking cough over and over and over. So, yeah, the Bushes, they say they ain't gonna be there. Oh. When I think about Donald Trump being the president, child, I tell you the truth. People talk about how terrible, you know, the second Bush was. Trump makes George Bush look like Camelot. Okay, that's how polarizing that Donald Trump is. So anyway, you guys, that is it. You guys just express how you feel in the comments. I'm staying out the comments because I just don't even need to get into it no more. I done told you guys exactly how I feel. That is exactly how I feel. But y'all, comments is open to you. Leave your feelings below. Child, I done took up all my time. I'm at work. I need to hurry up and get off of here so I can go start my day. AlexisManigo, also known as Kalia Mobley. You guys heard the story about her, right? This is the 18-year-old girl out in Walterboro, South Carolina. Right at the end of 2016, there were some tips that was made to a missing child agency to let them know that they believe that AlexisManigo was abducted back 18 years ago. That heated up a cold case in Jacksonville, Florida, where then 16-year-old Shanara Mobley handed her newborn off to who she then thought was a nurse, never to see the child again. Turns out that Gloria Williams was not a nurse. She had supposedly lost her own baby, stole this baby, and fled the state. Once investigators got the tip, they went up to Walterboro, South Carolina. They found this AlexisManigo, who had the same birth date as Kalia Mobley. They also found out that Alexis had fraudulent documents, didn't have a social security number. I guess she had tried to apply for a job. So they found AlexisManigo, and with a search warrant, they was able to get a DNA swab of her, and the rest is history. Turns out that she is Kalia Mobley, and she was stolen 18 years ago. I was so saddened by this story because when they showed them arresting the mom and this 18-year-old girl crying, this is the only mother that she has known. She has been in articles and interviews that said that, her mother was great to her and, provided her every need, and I'm sure she was all of that. Very loving, doting. I think she was the only child. So it makes your heart hurt for a girl that has lived her whole 18 years as a lie. I don't think I can have much sympathy for Gloria Williams, who, even though she was satisfying her own need to have a child, who obviously ruined the lives of many people back when she stole this baby 18 years ago. I mean, can you imagine handing your child to somebody in the hospital and then you just don't see the child no more? What kind of fucking explanation is that when the hospital's like, yeah, we don't have her? I feel really terrible for these parents, the original parents, Craig Aiken and Shanara Mobley, who lost 18 years of their daughter's life. Now they have a child that loves another woman who is not really their mother. The biological parents was robbed of having a relationship with their own child. The whole story is so fucked up because, of course, the original parents, they want their child back. But it's so many other facets to it now. This child loves her mother, who is in jail, who they say may even get life. The Kalia or Alexa, she hasn't said which name that she is going to keep. But, she's trying. She's met with them, and she even called them mom and dad, they said in the interview that I read, because she knew that that's what they wanted to hear. But once we start getting down to the nitty gritty and the reality of the situation and all of the hoopla of the case dies down, you've got a child here who has to try to deal with the fact that her whole life has been a lie. So very, very, very sad. Gloria Williams deserves to go to jail for a long time, in my opinion, because if somebody did that to me and stole my children away, I would have absolutely no forgiveness for them. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I feel sorry for Alexis, Kalia, and she is going to definitely need counseling. Y'all tell me what you think, though. Do you have any feelings for Gloria? Do you feel that she shouldn't be in jail and that this is just one of those cases where everybody should move on? I mean, you really shouldn't feel like that. But anyway, you guys, leave your feelings about it below. All right, you guys, we got to extend a rest in peace to very controversial pastor and bishop AlexisManigo. You guys know that he died the other day. What day was that? Was it Sunday? He died after what they say a long battle with gastrointestinal cancer. They say that this was the second time that he's had it before, that he beat it, went into remission, but it has since returned, and we had already seen proof of his declining health. They said that he had went off to Mexico, the same place that Coretta Scott King evidently died in, because he was trying natural remedies that they had there, and then he returned to Atlanta and said that it had been victorious in his treatment and that he was healed. Then as time went on and we saw more and more pictures of him, and then just recently a video of him on the pulpit at New Birth, he looked deathly ill. Very, very bad. I know it had to probably take all of his everything just to be up there and singing and dancing like he was. But shortly after that, he did succumb to this illness. Now, we can't ever ignore the fact that Bishop Eddie Long was involved in the scandal of the 4 boys that he molested. I don't think that any of us will forget the damage that those boys had, and I don't believe that any of us will forget the disgust that we felt for Eddie Long. Yet and still, the man has died now, and I'm just going to, all I can say is a rest in peace. Okay, because I don't have a heaven or a hell to put anybody in. But again, I understand why people feel emotional about Eddie Long and the things that he did. These 4 boys that he molested, they say that they are penning a tell-all book. Okay, I guess the gag order that they had signed, the agreement that they had come to with Bishop Eddie Long, I guess that dies along with Eddie Long. All right, so now they're free to tell their story, and I imagine that story will be coming out very soon. So a very sad ending to a very sad story all the way around. I'm sure he is leaving behind a family and friends, members, followers who love him to death. May God be with you guys in this moment as you guys try to deal with his death. He was 63 years old, and he was still the head pastor at New Birth, even though he was not normally preaching ever since all of the scandal. But yeah, rest in peace, Eddie Long. So, Taxstone, you guys. Now, you guys know that I'm not in the podcast. I'm a visual person. I need to see you, okay? But Taxstone, I have heard and seen the name plenty of times. I've seen the man plenty of times just from Instagram and Twitter and different blogs. He is a outspoken podcaster, if that's a word, who often gets into public feuds with different people. Just recently, he's been in it with Whack 100. Is it Whack? Roxstar 100, whatever his name is, you know, that's the game's manager. He's the Pyru Blood who's trying to take over this so-called fight that Soulja Boy and Chris Brown is never gonna have, and y'all just keep on believing the fucking hype. Anyway, Taxstone was arrested the other day because they say that he was involved in the shooting with Troy Ave. I understand it's not Troy Avenue. I was calling him Troy Avenue, and they was just like, bitch, that is not the name. Listen, I'm old. The shit say Troy Avenue to me. That's what the hell his name is. You guys remember the shooting up in New York where T.I. was supposed to be performing, and right before T.I. came out, there was this big shooting. Well, now they are saying that Taxstone's DNA was on the gun that murdered the security of Troy Ave. Okay, I just keep on wanting to call him Troy Avenue. They're saying that he might have even been the person that pulled the trigger. And supposedly there was a whole bunch of talk about it, you know, hush hush around New York, that he was involved. I'm just like, I mean, how you just be on podcasts and be out there like that, and you know you didn't probably kill some damn body. That's why it's hard for me to believe. Like, I hope he ain't had that. Yeah, I hope he had more sense than that. I need to know more about the story. Now, they say that he's in jail. They said there was a $500,000 bail that has been set. Rumors were that he was out, but now they're saying no, he's not out. He's still in jail, and I guess they're still trying to work it out. Child, I don't know. But we gonna hear more about this story. This story keeps on going, okay, because Troy Ave gets caught up in shit as well. But this thing with Taxstone, guess we gonna keep our good eye on it, find out what happened. Mr. Taxstone, you didn't kill nobody, did you? Oh, I meant to write down the story about the damn pit bulls that attacked the kids out here in Atlanta. I didn't write it down. Shit. Damn. I hate when I don't get a story that I'm... Okay, you guys. Anyway, in Quickies, Will and Grace is returning, and everybody is very happy about that. They say that after the cast got together for some sort of some little short that they did for the elections, everybody got excited about being together, and they decided that they would bring Will and Grace back for one season on NBC, 10 episodes, and I guess they'll see where it goes from there. Loved Will and Grace, so you know, I think this is a great thing for all of them, because what is any of them doing? Grace, what's her name? Deborah Messenger? Deborah Messing, or is it Messing or Messenger? Whatever her name is, she was on that show where the musical with the girl from American Idol in there. I loved that show. I thought it was so good, and then that was gone, and then we ain't really seen her. We ain't seen really none of them. We've seen a lot of the people that played extras on the show. We done seen them on all kind of shit, but them themselves, we haven't seen them. So I actually am looking forward to seeing the show. They say that they got the original writers and the producers, the main ones, to return. So I believe it'll be on the same vein, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Speaking of reboots, they're saying that Living Single is going to be returning. Queen Latifah has confirmed that they are in talks to bring that back. I'd be interested in seeing that too. We don't see any of them other than Queen Latifah and Kim Fields. So, you know, everybody needs a fucking job, and the show was one of our favorites. It got really bad at the end, though. You know, it was just sort of like, it was like they dragged it on, and then they didn't really have an official you know, ending of the show. The shit was just gone, so we didn't get a sense of closure with it. So I'm here for Living Single to return. What about you? Real Housewives of Atlanta salaries were released, and yeah, you guys, these girls evidently are making a lot of money. Somebody in my comments left it. I didn't write down exactly. I'm gonna try to remember if I can remember exactly what everybody was making. They say that Candy is making the most with $1.8 million. They say that Cynthia's making, I believe, $1.4 million. They say that Kenya's making $1.2 million. I think Phaedra's right around there, $1.2, $1.4 million. They say Portia made $800,000, I believe. And Sheree made somewhere around $600,000. You guys don't quote me, but I'm giving you where the bulk of the money went, all the way down to the lowest. Now, fuck, all of that is a lot of money to me. All right, but you can give me $500,000 and I'm real good. I'm real good, especially for just one season. I don't know if those numbers have really been confirmed, but it's proof right there that these girls are doing well and making good money. And like I told you guys in the videos, even with all the negative of the show, it cannot outweigh the positives that has come from the show. 1.8 million. We love Candy to death, but Candy's not making that kind of money from music no more. This show has allowed her to open up many other platforms with her bedroom Candy, with, you know, her returning back into music, with her this restaurant child that we gonna see, and other things that she's probably involved in silently. So, and the rest of them as well. Okay, so good for them. I ain't never mad at black women making good money. And then lastly, you guys, your boy Plies was arrested for DUI the other day. And I saw the picture of him, his mug shot looking just like Kirk Franklin. It is amazing how much he looks like Kirk Franklin. He's posted bail, and I'm sure he is going to, you know, have to do some community service and pay something and probably go to some classes and all of that, but it'll go away. I always wonder if he's driving. We see him quite lit on his Instagram, you know, plenty of nights, and he's in his car, obviously. I've always hoped that he wasn't driving, but, you know, evidently he was, and even fussed about his friends letting him do shit like that. So, yeah, Plies, we need you to get it together, man. We love to see you on Instagram. We don't want you in jail. Do better. Guys, that is it. Boy, I love when I get these videos done before work. It just makes my day go much smoother, and I get to have an actual lunch. I feel accomplished, you guys. Let me get in here, get my day started. We do this every single week, so make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.